visionary artist blending traditional techniques with modern technology. With roots tracing back to childhood, Kacey's passion for art blossomed early on, driving her to explore every avenue of creative expression. Graduating from the County College of Morris in 2018 with a focus on art education, she later pivoted to 3D animation at the Academy of Art University, graduating in 2023. As she navigates her role at Pinot's Palette, Kacey's ultimate dream is to sustain herself through commissioned works. From brush to screen, Kacey's journey epitomizes the fusion of passion, skill, and ambition, breathing life into every stroke and pixel she touches.
Welcome back to Garden State of the Arts. I'm your host, Joey Lancelotti, and today we have an amazing artist, Kacey Kagdis. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
Okay, so what made you get started in art?
My mom has always been really good at drawing and things like that, so from a very young age, she started teaching me to draw. And without her encouragement, I probably wouldn't have gone for it. It was really nice having someone to kind of show me the ropes and someone that close to me who could give me their expertise.
That is awesome. That is so cool. So what kind of art do you like to create?
Usually I focus on portraits or animals. There's just something about drawing something with a face that I really like bringing it to life. I know a lot of artists do landscapes and things like that, but I've never felt as comfortable doing those. So I prefer to work on people and animals and just things like that.
It's awesome to have like a subject that you can get tons of references for. So what made you kind of decide to designate pastels as your medium of choice?
They're very quick and they're very easy. There's a lot of things I've experimented with and there's a lot of things I enjoy. But I find that pastels give me the opportunity to create a piece much, much faster than a lot of other things with a lot more vibrancy. I've had trouble in the past with colored pencils and watercolors, trying to get them as vibrant as I want without ruining the piece. So pastels are just very easy for me to work with and get the painting or drawing to where I want it to be without a lot of work.
So the artists that inspire you, what kind of work do they do? Do they also use pastels?
No, those are fairly new. I'm generally a fan of Renaissance artists, Michelangelo, Raphael. What they did was incredible. It was so new for the time and so inspiring. Some of them did portraits, but a lot of them are known for their oil paintings. That was really the medium of choice at the time. I'm not as much a fan of painting, even though I teach paintings for a living, but I like working with drawing. Now, some people say pastel is painting because of the way it blends and smudges, so I guess if you count that, then I do something very similar to what they do.
Okay. I mean, in my eyes, I definitely do count it. So what is Pinot's Palette, and how does it work?
So Pinot's Palette is a paint and sip, and if you've never done a paint and sip before, my job is to teach you how to be an artist. The goal is that you leave with a finished painting that you're proud of. Most of the people that come in there have never held a paintbrush before, maybe they've never even considered painting before. Not everyone is amazing at it their first time around. I can't make you an artist overnight, but it's a lot of fun getting people to enjoy something that I enjoy. And it can be frustrating when someone else doesn't understand it or when I'm having a hard time explaining it to someone. But after a while, it's just a lot of fun for them. It's a lot of fun for me, which is really my main goal with art.
So how long have you been teaching over there?
I started just after my studio opened, which is about 6 years now. I will tell you the first 2 years were pretty rough. I wasn't very good at it. I didn't know as much about how to explain art to people. But after 6 years, it's been a great learning process for them and for me, because after a while, you learn how to explain what you do to other people.
that is extremely important, being a teacher, being able to, you know, transfer the idea from, you know, the person who kind of has been doing it for a long time to somebody who's a bit newer. So we actually have some videos of you in the studio kind of working on your own artwork and teaching. Would you mind kind of talking about what you're doing a little bit?
Sure.
Awesome, just right over here.
So that would be a drawing of Emma Stone that I'm working on in pastels. Generally, I start by laying down some of the warmer colors, or at least just blocking the colors in general. It's a very long process going from the beginning to the end. Sometimes I'll throw in some of the details in there, like I have the lips mostly finished in there. Sometimes I'll add the eyes in just so I can get a baseline for how dark or how light something should be. Like right now it looks very vibrant and very colorful, but once you start getting the eyes and lips in there, a lot of those take a back seat to it. Here I'm using some blue. Blue makes a really great undertone. Most people don't look at a person and think, hey, that person has blue skin, but it's really good for the shadows and the darker spots to bring those out. Now that you can see the eyes in there, you can tell it's a bit lighter, like the cheeks that looked really vibrant before. They don't look nearly as vibrant with that bright blue darkness in comparison. So I might not finish each step as I go, but I'll lay down a lot of different parts of the drawing first. That way I can kind of assess everything all at once. And once I have everything laid out, I'll keep going. That was my first attempt with markers. That was a lot of fun. Took me forever. That would be a colored pencil drawing. Also took a while to get all of that darkness on there. Something I struggle with colored pencils is getting the blacks as dark as they should be, and she has a lot of it, so it took a while. But I really loved her expression. It was a lot of fun to draw. That would be a painting of Lily Collins that I did for a class here, actually. Not as finished as I would have liked, and I do want to go back for it. This is a great example of my ability to use the texture of the paper to create the skin. Skin is not super smooth, and having the paper texture helps with that. Back to my gargoyle. I really do like him, made with all grays. I know he looks blue and yellow in some spots, but it's really just warm grays, light grays. That would be Zendaya. It took a while to figure out what picture I wanted to draw because she has so many good looks. It's my first time doing the hair like that, so that was a bit of a challenge, but it was really fun trying to figure out how to go about that. At the beginning, I had no idea what I planned to do. Told myself that peacock wouldn't take me very long because it's very small, and then I was wrong. It took me 8 hours, but I'm so happy with it. So it was worth all the time it took. Going back to how I'm inspired by Renaissance artists, this was based on a Renaissance drawing. Definitely a different style than what I normally do, but it was a lot of fun. This was a great opportunity to use more blues.
Wow. First off, you are an amazing artist. I saw some of your works, but that was so cool. Especially like the colored pencils. Awesome. So cool.
Thank you.
So how do you actually divide your time between working on your own artistic endeavors versus teaching?
It can be difficult. Some days I finish teaching at work and I go home and I just don't want to do art because I've been doing art all day. I find that working on different subjects helps. A lot of what I do at the studio is very stylized, or it's a very specific type of artwork, and it's not necessarily the same that I create. So we do a lot of landscapes or a lot of moon paintings in the studio. So when I go home, I will do portraits, I'll do pet drawings, animals, something different. That way it feels like I'm doing something different. I also pretty much only get to do acrylic painting at work, so when I go home, that's the last thing I do because I want to do something different. It's a lot easier to keep myself motivated if it doesn't feel like I'm bringing work home. Not that I don't do acrylic paintings at home, but I try to do something different so it feels like I'm doing a different subject or I'm not just continuing what I did at work all day.
That makes a lot of sense. So do you have any advice you would want to give to other artists?
I'd say the most important thing is practice. A lot of people who come into my studio, it's their first time and sometimes their paintings don't turn out as well as they want. And I tell them that they need to keep at it because the first time you hold a paintbrush or a pencil, your art's not going to be super amazing. Some people might have a better starting point than others, but practice is really important there. It's also really helpful to get feedback. Now, a lot of people who I've worked with, they have tried following YouTube videos before. And when you follow a YouTube video, that's great, and it can bring up a lot of good points, but it can't tell you how to fix something if you're going wrong somewhere.
Exactly, yeah. Practice makes perfect. But thank you so much for taking the time and coming on down and showing us all of your amazing artwork.
No problem. It's good to be here.
Well, guys, thank you so much for watching Garden State of the Arts. I'm your host, Joey Lancelotti, and we will see you next week.